Yeah, I see you. Wonderful.
How are you? It's been a while. 2016, The Elephant and Wheelbarrow.
Is it 16 or was it 15?
Oh God, now you're asking.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right.
I think it was 15, but maybe I'm wrong. Time flies, and
I'm
2 years
both.
has been completely gone because of COVID. It's like there's like two years of zero memories.
Oh no, it's crazy, isn't it? And I can't imagine what it must have done to a band who just released such a couple of wonderful albums. I mean, everything really. I guess from Bleed and Scream, which when I first heard you, has
Yeah.
been pretty much magic. It's wonderful to have you back after almost getting you back, I guess, a few years ago when a festival sort of like fell into the sea. I think between
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
between the two of us. It's I've just been looking at your recent set lists. And I would be very, very happy to see to see you come over and play that for us. Are you changing things up for Australia, or are you?
I think we have songs enough for because we've been playing like 2 hour shows lately.
Hmm.
We yeah, last show in Sweden before Christmas was over 2 hours, so I think we got songs enough to change up throughout the whole, the four festival gigs. I think we only play like 45 minutes, 45 minutes. So it's
Um,
gonna be all in for
it's going to be
45 minutes.
over. It's going to be over in a flash, and a bit more time for a nice pale ale. Then, in that case,
Absolutely.
which
That's a promise.
I remember enjoying one with you at the Elephant Wheelbarrow. It
Yep.
was great.
It was nice
And
pub.
it was a nice pub, yeah. And I know that we're both partial to a beer. Wired for me was magnificent. I love how the sound has evolved over the years. It's hard to believe that. I mean, Bleed and Scream now is what 11 years old, I think, or
Yeah.
thereabouts.
Just over 10 years was released in I don't know when, like
Mm.
autumn of 2012. Time flies, but it feels like it's as always, it feels like a very long time ago, and it also feels like it was just a few years ago. So it's same time because a lot of stuff has happened since Bleed
Oh,
and Scream.
oh, absolutely. I mean, some of the wonderful collaborations you've been involved with as well. I was talking to Augie the other day from Wigwam, trying to find out if there's going to be a new Ammunition album coming out.
What did it say?
He would love to hear. He would love to see
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to him when he gets over here because I think he lands about 5 or 6 hours before you go on stage in Melbourne.
Oh,
So,
that's a coincidence. Yes,
yeah.
it's fun
So
that
so
that they are the
I've given him
wigwam is going to be in in the same in Australia on the other side of the world at the same time. It's just
yeah.
it's funny.
I've given him the directions to the show. So
Mhm.
if he manages to turn up and get on stage, that would be an absolutely amazing thing to down under in
Yeah,
Australia as well.
that would be
So
fun.
it would. So how are you at the moment? I mean, you've had quite a few gigs. The new music seems to be going down fantastically well, um, and it's a perfect Australian summer for you to come into.
Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, it's snowing right. It's snowing here right now. So, and for us, it's like skiing season, and I love downhill skiing. So, I think I'm gonna do. We're leaving on Sunday, and I think on Saturday I'm gonna be off skiing, and then to the airplane, and then to
Oh
30
wow,
degrees of
yeah,
summer. Yeah.
it will be interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interestingly named festival for a band like Eclipse,
Yeah.
Glam Fest. Let's
Glam
let's
Fest.
let's
Just
talk
look at
about
me. I'm just I'm glam. Look at me.
let's talk about your favorite glam bands then. Like, um, who would be on an Erik Mårtensson Glam Fest?
Well, glam bands, I guess, is Mötley Crüe a glam band? I
Yeah,
it's hard with all these subgenres. I think glam for me is like Poison.
yeah. Same
Yeah,
same here. There's too many. It's confusing. It's like I think, as the great Steve Marriott once said, there's two types of music: good music and bad music. And
Yeah,
I sort
absolutely.
of
Yeah, and
I get,
well, I guess for me, glam bands are bands. They had the looks, but they didn't have the music. Kind of that's glam bands for me. The bands that kind of killed good hard rock and made it possible for grunge to take over in in the early
I,
90s.
you subscribe to my theory then, because that's exactly the way the way I see it. It wasn't that grunge was anything new or groundbreaking. It was just that I guess the music was getting more and more derivative. But it's a wonderful bill. Have you played with any of the other guys before?
No, never.
No.
I don't think so. No,
So something
not
new
sure.
for
No,
you.
I don't think. No, we don't know any of them. Maybe we played like back in the day. There was a festival in UK called Firefest. Maybe enough
Oh
enough
yeah, yeah,
played there at the same time. I'm not sure. Not on the
yeah.
same day anyway. So I've never met any one of them.
Oh, cool. That would be something interesting. We've got the internationals over. Let's hope it goes well. I think the tickets are going fantastically well. So
Okay, cool.
whenever I'm talking to anyone, I always let our readers know that we're doing that, and we've got quite a few questions coming in. The first one says that Wired has to be one of the best albums released this century, and
Wow.
how on earth can you follow that up?
Well,
Are you recording?
we just have to make a better one. It's easy. Just make a better one and it's done.
Are you already in the process of writing or recording?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So it's hopefully a new record this year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
New one this year. Um, wow. Carved in Stone, I think, is one of my favorites from Wired, but also Roses on Your Grave is a wonderful opener. And I saw that you'd actually been opening with that.
Yeah.
It's going down really, really, really well. Um,
Yeah.
someone's asked me this one. It's something I've heard you being asked before, so I'm a bit reluctant to ask it, but um, they're sort of like a good friend of the website. Um, that with that album covering so much ground, and there's some wonderful diversity on there as well. Which, which of the songs on there? And I've heard you mention Downfall of Eden, and in the past, sort of sums up where you are at the moment as a band.
Well, every
It's
record is
hard.
different. Every record has got a different vibe, and it's like a diary of the period of time when you're writing the album, where you are musically or what you are interested at the moment. Some records are more, Wired is more like a it's more part for Eclipse. It's a party rock album, kind of. It's more up tempo. It's
It's
more.
very
It's a
uplifting,
little.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It's got some almost punk attitude to it,
Mm.
even if it's very polished kind of. But it's so I think we are the direction we are heading is more and more rock and more back to less is more thinking,
Yeah.
which I always just try to write less is more songs. And it's sometimes you manage to do it, sometimes you're not, because it's hard. It's very easy to write a complicated song, but it's very hard to make a simple song that's still interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's
What's
the
it? I mean, it must be incredible for you. I mean, because not only are you a songwriter and a musician, a guitarist, a singer, but you're also a producer as well. How do those two things co-evolve? Is it always going at the same pace in parallel to each other, or is your career? Because I mean, you did some wonderful production on the last Cruel Intentions. I absolutely loved what you did
oh,
with that record.
yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Came out really well.
Yeah. How do you how do you sort of like those two things live together with you? The sort of like songwriting side and the production side.
Yeah,
Is it
well, first you have the creative thing that when you write songs, without the songs you have nothing. So it doesn't matter if the production or the sound is the best in the world. If it's bad songs, it doesn't help. of course, a good sound can enhance what's already there. But if you don't have the songs, then you have nothing. So I think that's the most important, the most important part of a record. And when I'm writing for myself, that's then I don't think in terms of sound or the final product that much. I just think of making the best possible song. And then you go to arrange. After you're done with the songs, you kind of go to the next, and then you go to the kind of producer thing when you start arranging the songs to make them ready for recording, and like doing pre-production, making sure nothing is boring, cutting away stuff that's uninteresting. Maybe something is good and you enhance that sections, and you do all the arrangement and the way they're going to end up on the record. And then I become like the technician, and setting up all from microphones to mic up drums to all these technical things. And then you start recording it, and then that turn into the musician and producer at the same time, because you gotta, if you don't record it right, it's not gonna sound right. And all the arrangement and how you play the guitar parts or drums and how everyone is playing, if you don't do that correctly, the final sound will not be good either. So you have to think about mixing already at recording stage. And then I turn myself, and when I'm done with the recordings, then I put on the mixer hat and start to mix the records. And with a band like Cruel Intentions, I was involved. They had the songs already, but they sent it to me, and I gave them suggestions: cut this part away, you have to make a better riff, this is boring, and do all these edits. And so the songs are there before they start to record them. And so yeah.
Is it hard to know when to stop with being a producer and a musician as well? Do you always want to get that perfect sound, or do you have to walk away?
I'm always been pretty good at that's good enough. For all this, it is rock and roll. It's just music. It's not rocket science. It's you just gotta go for a feeling. And if it feels right, if it sounds right, it is right. At least for me, that's the only reference I can have. It's myself. If I like it, then it's good enough for us. Or if the band is happy, then we're good to go. Because you can never think about what will the fans think. It's like you can't relate to that. You can only relate to yourself. Yeah,
it's hard, isn't it? I mean, you're one of the few people that I think I've spoken to as a musician who are involved in numerous projects. Who I think last time we spoke, you told me that you actually write for a particular project, whereas a lot of musicians will write and then decide necessarily where it fits. Is that something you find easy to do?
It's never easy to write songs. It's easy to write a song, but writing a good song is hard. And sometimes you can sit down, you can try to write songs for every day for a week, and just you end up with nothing. Everything is just super boring, and nothing inspires you. And then you can just all of a sudden it just happens, and you get this. It just sounds right. In 30 minutes, you almost have the whole picture of the song ready. Almost with maybe not with lyrics, but maybe a good idea of what it's going to be. So it's a good idea. A good idea can save a lot of time.
Yeah, I can imagine. With you being veterans of the Australian touring scene and having been over here once before, in either 2015 or 2016, not quite sure yet. What did you get out of that first tour of Australia? I mean, what I got out of it was there were a room full of people who absolutely loved the band, and you proceeded to blow us away. Can we expect more of the same?
Yeah, I guess it's going to be more of the same, except it's going to be four rooms, hopefully, with people who's going to enjoy it. We're going to go over there. The playing music on stage is going to be fantastic. But the best thing for us going to Australia is to be in Australia. Except for the super, super long flight, it's going to be fantastic just to hang out, just meeting and talking to people. And on stage, we're of course going to, deliver the best possible gig we possibly can do. And so people, hopefully people will walk away from that, from the festival, and think that Eclipse was a really good band.
I know a lot of people I'm talking to you are the band that they're coming to see. So hopefully that means we'll get to see you on your own on a full tour at some point in the future. I'm sure
That
we
would be
will.
awesome.
I mean, you've
Yeah.
already mentioned that Eclipse are looking to release something hopefully later this year. What about your other projects? How do they stand at the moment? I mean, one of my favorite albums of last year was Nordic Union. It was absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thank you
Um,
so much. Yeah, it's that one turned out really well. It's that was most of those songs were written within like 2 weeks. It was like I was,
wow.
sometimes you're on a roll. It's like every day I started writing, and I was like, oh, and I listened to the song the day after. And it's like, this is not bad at all. And then I started doing another ones because I wrote most of those songs myself completely, and then Ronnie did lyrics and a few of them, but most of them is like just more or less me writing. So it was, I had a period of good inspiration.
Yeah. And what do I tell Augie when I meet him?
Tell him, go buy him a beer. He will be happy.
Yeah, he told me about a few of his nights out. It sounds like he would appreciate that beer. And
Yeah.
what about Wet? Anything from Wet?
Yeah. When was the last one? Is it 2020? Was
Yeah,
that one the previous one? Or was it early 21? I'm not sure.
early 21. Yeah, yeah.
Early 21. So it's not that long ago. But yeah, we're talking about doing a new record as well.
Mm.
It's about time. I need to finish the Eclipse album, because I
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
like to, yeah, I don't enjoy. I can do a lot of mixing and other stuff during our own recordings, but for me to write and work on two records, create, being creative and write songs, it's pretty hard
And
because it
I
takes a lot.
noticed, yeah, I can imagine. I noticed that you'd picked up a nickname as well on the back of the Call Intentions
Yeah.
album.
Yeah, it's great. It was
Mob's
it's
Lang.
Mop Lang. Mop is like idiot.
Oh, okay, that's where it comes from. Okay, so we'd probably say Muppet or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Mop is
friend
Lang.
of
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It's going to be
yeah, that's
absolutely
fun.
amazing to catch up with you.
Because
Hopefully, I'll
they
catch
thought
up with you.
they thought it was almost like it sounded like a Mutt Lang production. Started making
Yeah.
fun of. Oh,
Well, I
yeah,
mean, you're getting there. Is he someone that you particularly enjoy his work?
yeah. His work is fantastic. There are a lot of great producers. He got his own sound. You know, I don't know. Is he doing rock records nowadays? I think he did the latest Brian Adams, which is kind of boring.
Yeah, he's done the latest Shania Twain, which I'm not sure would
Yeah,
classify
yeah.
as rock maybe,
Well,
but yeah,
he did Highway. He did Highway to Hell. Well,
he did
after that.
our favorite
Yeah,
AC/DC album. That's right. So
yeah,
that's great.
great.
Okay, I mean, I'd love to ask you if we can, if we've got time, just for a couple of introductions to songs. We've got the Rockpit Radio show up and running now, and we're obviously loving to plug Glam Fest and the dates that are coming up. I'd love to introduce Can We Play Roses on Your Grave?
Sure.
Yeah, and could you tell us a little bit about the song in the intro?
Okay, let me think. It's been a while since I wrote it. Let me just think about the situation when it happened. Well, okay. The whole Rose on a Grave is it's up tempo rocker, the perfect opener for the latest record Wired, and it's the perfect show starter as well. It came out pretty easy. And for me, it's kind of influenced. The riff is kind of influenced by Kiss, but we kind of made it into a Eclipse style instead. It starts off sounding like an old Kiss song almost, but then we turn it into something else, and very melodic. It's about a relationship that has completely broken down, and that's actually the grave is actually the relationship.
Mm.
So that's the lyric.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful song. I mean, I still can't pick my favorite from the album. Some wonderful stuff. Viva la Victoria, of course. Saturday Night Hallelujah. I'd love to play something from any of the other albums as well. Have you got a particular favorite from the back catalogue that you'd like to introduce for us?
I don't know. Well, as you mentioned earlier, "The Downfall of Eden" is one of my favorite songs from Eclipse. It added something new when we wrote that song. It added something new to the template for Eclipse, and it was a new color for Eclipse, a new direction for the band to take, and we immediately heard that when we wrote the songs. It was never a single, even if Magnus, the guitar player, and myself wanted it to be a single. It was never a single, but it turned out to be the most popular song on the record, Monumentum. So I think we have almost played it every show since we released that record in 2017. So
it's an incredible song. Definitely one of my favorite from Eclipse. But then again, I was looking at a set list from one of the Spain dates on the Rewired tours and thinking, wow, that is absolutely perfect. You've got a stage where you've got a set list where there's the only let up is when you drop the tempo a bit. There's absolutely nothing there for to give anyone any rest, which is how a good rock concert should be. It's going to be wonderful to see you down under.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful to go there.
Can't wait to say hello. I'll come and say hi in Adelaide if that's okay.
That's fantastic.
And if you could just say, just to introduce, I'll cut those bits out to put on the radio. But if you could just say something along the lines of, "Hi, this is Erik from Eclipse. You're listening to the Rockpit."
Okay. Hello, this is Erik Mårtensson from Swedish rock band Eclipse, and you're listening to Rockpit.
Thank you so much, my friend. Can't wait. It's going to be absolute highlight of the year for me. Take care of yourself and have a very safe trip.
See you in a matter of days.
No worries. Thanks, Erik. Take care, mate.
Take care. Bye.